Hi, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, we discuss positive lifestyle and mental health, and we just spread positive vibes. All right, let's get into this topic. As you've seen the title, 10 common habits that are toxic. Number one, pleasing others at your expense. I can't say this enough. I think I've been a culprit of this before. Yes, I am. I used to be guilty, and I'm sure many people are still guilty of this action. Like when you're not interested in doing something, why force yourself to do it? You're at a discomfort. Why do you still think that you should do it? Like why? Why? Why do it? Why do it? You don't want to, then don't do it. It's good for your mental health. Take care of your mental health. Just don't do it. Number two, the need to be perfect. Have I explained to you that no matter how much you try, you can never ever be perfect? You can never. On this channel, I always say nothing is impossible. As long as it can happen, I can do it. But being perfect is something that cannot happen. Why even bother? Because you're just gonna put yourself through all that stress for something that doesn't exist. Perfection doesn't exist. So why try to be perfect? It's okay to make mistakes. We will always make mistakes. It's normal, human life. Move on. Don't try to be perfect. We are not perfect. We all have flaws. Number three, comparing yourself to others. This is a big one. Everybody have different struggles. We are all individually unique in our own way. Why try to compare your struggle with that next person's struggle? You don't know what they've been through to get that. We don't know what you yourself have been through to get what you want. So comparing each other's lives is kind of irrational because everybody has lived through different lives, which cannot be judged by just watching at the after picture of the benefit or either benefit or karma of whatever they get. So stop comparing yourself. Either you look down on people or you look up to people. It's okay to have role models. I don't know. I don't even want to get into this topic of having role models and mentors. It's okay. That's another topic for another day. I mean, it's okay to have role models, people you look up to, but don't try to exactly copy and look exactly like them. Well, we're talking about comparing yourself. Don't just look at people's life and think that theirs is better or worse than yours. You don't know what exactly they've gone through to get to that stage. So basically, it doesn't help you mentally to even compare yourself. Because what you should be grateful for is that being ungrateful. Have gratitude for wherever in life you are. If you want to come, I would say even if you want to compare yourself to people that are lesser than you, then you will find joy in everything you do. Okay, number four, gossiping about mutual friends. Should I say I'm a culprit or wait? Hear me out. I don't like gossiping, right? But I think that I've used situations of my friends to advise another friend. Is that a bad thing? Is that kind of gossip? But I try most times not to mention the names in it. According to the definition of gossiping, it could count as gossiping. So yes, I'm a culprit. Hopefully I change in the future. Cutie. Cutie. Okay. Number five, self-sabotage. Why do we do that to ourselves? Why? We are the number one person who want to bring ourselves down. Don't you know that how you treat yourself is what you're giving that another person the chance to treat you the same way you treat yourself? Don't try to put yourself down. Rather pick yourself up through that pieces of cracks that's falling. Pick them up and be your best bet to survive through life. Don't sabotage yourself. Don't talk down on yourself. Yes, please be lenient on yourself. That applies to me and everybody. We do that a lot to ourselves. We beat ourselves up too much for little mistakes and little things we do. So understand that mistakes will happen and don't bring yourself down because you do that, because of that mistake. Try to lift yourself up rather. The way we do to others, the way we try to lift others up when they're in need, let's do that when we are in need. Don't put ourselves down. Number 6, expecting the worst to happen. This negative mindset, it's having too much of everything is bad. I used to say something like, a little fear is good. When we're scared, then we can rise up and do what is needed to be done, right? But when you're always expecting the worst to happen, what are you telling your brain? Those damaging negative thoughts, what do you think they're going to do to your brain and your mental health? Whoosh, destroy you. That's exactly what negativity does. So stop expecting the worst to happen. These are common habits. And I think this also stems out from low self-esteem. Yeah, having low self-worth and lack of confidence can cause this situation to happen. So you need to build back your self-love, self-confidence, let it go up. Then maybe you'll stop expecting the worst to happen. Number 7, you're obsessed with wanting to change someone. Haven't I said that we are all imperfect? So how do you then expect to change somebody if they're not willing to change? The problem is we all set expectations of, or an idea, expectations on people. We owe them to a standard that we expect them to meet, even though we don't meet your own standards. The same way you expect them to meet your standard, they expect you to meet their standards. So now there's a conflict. Don't you think it goes both ways? Because you're flawed, that makes it makes two of you now, because you're flawed, that person is flawed. Then bad things, worse things about each other is definitely gonna happen, even in relationships. That is why sometimes it's very difficult to keep relationships, especially these days. Few people can make it to the end and live this forever, happily ever after. It's not always a happy moment. There are sad moments, but it's just two people working together and they have good positives and negatives, and while living together they're trying to walk through the negatives together and express their feelings through communication and talk about it. And sometimes that person don't change, but because your love is greater than what the negative things that you see from that person, then you stay. It's difficult to really stay. You can be interested in some topics together, but stop obsessing with wanting to change someone, because since you know you're flawed, everybody is flawed, then it's impossible for us to be perfect. So people can never be perfect, and the most important is stop setting expectations for people. Number 8, skipping sleep even for something important. Number 1 culprit, because I'm a night owl. I like studying, doing things at night. Night time is, in fact, I'm shooting this video at, do you know what the time is right now? Let me check the time. I think the time is almost 2 a.m. and I'm shooting videos. I mean, it's at night I get more active, but no, I need to change. I mean, going through medical school, then becoming a doctor. It's hard for you to avoid night routines when you're gonna do on-call and stay in the hospital for 36 hours. You're staying all night essentially. So hopefully that day comes when I can say I'm sleeping peacefully. Even as a doctor, if you get to 3 hours of sleep, you say, oh, thank God. Yeah, hopefully it's something I can work on in the future. But sleep is very important and it's beneficial in many ways, even improving your mental health. I try so much to have a decent sleep, but I still fall short. That I need to work on. Number 9, holding on to the past. I know there is a version of us that we miss, we liked, we loved, and sometimes we wanted to come back in this situation. But how will growth happen if we continue to remain in our old self, or if we continue to dwell on the past things? Just like how we have different stages of development, we were a neonate, then a toddler, then teenager, then an adult, then even old age happens. These are things that have to happen. These are growth that must happen. If you're stuck in one place, then you are not given a chance for you to grow. So why must you hold on to your past? Past things are past, right? And done. Don't hold yourself. You can hold yourself accountable for some things if you feel guilty about something, but don't bring it in. Keep dwelling on that thing to the extent that you cannot think clearly of how your future could be because you're still thinking so much about the past. We are human beings. We make mistakes, and that mistake we made yesterday should be past tense. And what yeah, we learned from that yesterday mistake. But today is a new day. We have to see it as a fresh day. That is how we think, and that is how we can succeed. Holding on to the past, clinging on to it, does not promote growth. And in order to succeed, you need to grow. You need to grow out of so many things. You can still have this your childlike, because we all have this childlike thing in us that want to play and do, but things like it's almost like obsessing over the past and clinging on to it will not enable you see what you can achieve, because you are holding on to that version of you. If that version was so good, you wouldn't be in that position of being stagnant that you're even thinking about that situation. So that's to say that version of you wasn't even good for you in the first place. Why not be open to a new version? And to have that new version of you, you need to outgrow your past. You need to. So we should stop holding on to the past. And the last is living in a victim mindset. This is a big one. I always say, please take responsibility. Regardless of, sometimes we could be a victim, genuine victim of things. But when we learn to have the mindset of responsibility, we take charge of our life, and it's easier for us to take charge of our goals and succeed. You stand up and go get what you want. Don't complain about the things you didn't get, or don't complain about you not being able to get these things because these are all excuses. If Mr. or Mrs. A can do it, you, Mr. or Mrs. B, can also do it. So stop living in a victim mindset. To really succeed, we need to stop living in a victim mindset. I know it's easier to put the blame on something than put the blame on us, but it's better if we take the blames many of the times. That's how we can learn and grow and then succeed from that. Please tell me in the comment section, what are your toxic habits, and let me know which one you're willing to change. I know there's so many toxic habits that are more than this, but these are the ones I mentioned in the video. But just comment below and tell me which one are yours, or which ones that are not, that I didn't mention, that are yours, and the ones you think you're willing to change. Yeah, sometimes we try to change some of these things, we can be better, but I know we're not perfect.